Have you ever felt?
Are you listening?
Rightio, so why am I making this video? Reason being is over the last week I have had a lot of appointments that I have to go to for just follow-up appointments, checkups, doctor's appointments, diabetes appointments. Supposed to see the cardiologist today, I'll get to that in a minute. I've got another eye test tomorrow. It's amazing how the heart screws with so many different things in your body. And so we came racing up to Hamilton today again to see the cardiologist for a follow-up appointment for some tests and stuff. And we arrived in Hamilton just to get a text message saying, really sorry, your appointment's been cancelled. The cardiologist has gone to theatre. And so I understand that. I totally get that, because if it was me being rushed in to have some kind of heart surgery, I'd be pretty pleased that whoever's appointment it was cancelled as well. So that's not my problem. The thing is, because of all these appointments, I was hoping to get another video up about our bus build yesterday, but we just haven't had a chance to get a lot done. We're still at the stage where we're taking the floor out. Hopefully by after my appointments tomorrow, we'll head back to where we're building the bus and hopefully get a floor in this week before heading over to Napier. I was hoping to get the bus finished before we went to Napier so we could drive it over. Looking forward to going to Napier. For those of you who don't know, I'm speaking at International Men's Day. I'm going to be sharing my story about our life, about how we live, why we made the changes, a few hiccups on the way, all that good stuff. So if you're in Napier, come along, would love to catch up. So I was thinking, well, what should I do instead as far as the video goes, because I thought I haven't done a thought for the day. I never got through my whole 12. There's reasons for that, and so I will just continue them randomly as I feel the urge. So you could consider this a thought for the day. Cindy and I were just talking about the week that I've had and something that we saw posted on Facebook, and it's to do with people that are going through really tough times. Last week, I won't say too much, but I had a friend who's going through a pretty tough time at the moment, and raced over to catch up with them just to see how they're doing. And normally I would feel kind of uncomfortable with somebody who's going through a hard time, where what do I say to them, what do I do? And it's like, after I had my heart attack, and Cindy was just saying the same, the thing that she found hardest was when, and this is no disrespect, because our natural nature is to want to make people feel better. The reality is, I got a ton of advice when I had my heart attack. I had a ton of reasoning from people, and it's really interesting. How do I put this? I don't want to upset anyone. I just want you to be honest. And it's just like, from, I guess, people who have a belief in God were quick to say God's trying to tell you something. He spared you this time because there's something special you're supposed to be doing, and that's cool. And then some more, I guess, new agey hippie people were more like, I think the universe is trying to tell you something. It's time to slow down, or it's time to live better. Actually, we got one comment from a person, and it was kind of a bit of a dig, and then they blocked me on Facebook, which I found really amusing. And I kind of find that, I've got to be honest, quite trivial, because after the crap that we've been through, I really struggle to deal with somebody who's upset with me because I didn't like some of their posts on Facebook. You know, when you have a heart attack like that, it puts a lot of different things into perspective, and I was probably a bit short with that person, but that's okay. It's neither here nor there for me at the moment, you know. But the thing is, it's hard that, you know, people would sort of dump these comments on you, and, you know, it's like, I thought, you know, just to clarify, actually, I'll clarify, in regard to my heart attack, I don't know if I've explained this to everybody, but my heart attack wasn't actually necessarily due to lifestyle. There were other contributing factors. I've been told that the rest of my arteries, through my heart, through my neck, through my head, are all perfect. And if it was due to bad lifestyle, my arteries would be a lot more blocked up, and they're not. It was one tiny blockage that they said had been building up over some time, and it could be, they're not entirely sure, but it could be because there was a small defect in my artery. My artery could have been slightly bent. The only problem that made it the worst kind of heart attack you can have is the fact that it was my main artery and it was 99% blocked. But the rest of my arteries are perfect, and my cholesterol is perfect. And, you know, I was talking to my doctor the other day, and he said sometimes there's just no explanation. He said you can see people with really, really high cholesterol, but they never have any problems in life, and then there's people with perfect cholesterol that will have a heart attack young, you know. So you can't be quick to, I guess, judge why people are in the situation they're in, you know. But in regard to dealing with people who are going through hard times, particularly people who are in a lot of pain, is sometimes I think the worst thing you can do is tell somebody to just cheer up. You know, I know Cindy said she struggled every time. It's like, you know, because she's been through the mill just as much as I have, if not more, you know, because she's had to sit there and watch what I'm going through, and, you know, and she was there when she just about lost me. Hopefully she's upset about that. maybe she's like, oh, no, definitely not. But, you know, and I think we all mean well, and I know I do the same. I just want to make people feel better. I want to cheer them up. But the thing is, with the pain that we've gone through recently, and it's not just been my heart attack, there's been a lot going on in my life that a lot of you don't know about behind the scenes, and unfortunately it was going on the same time as my heart attack. But I might get into that another time, to do, you know, it's to do with family and stuff, so but that's okay. But the thing is, what I'm realizing is, when I was sitting with my friend the other day, is I couldn't sit there and tell him, oh, cheer up, it's going to be alright. Because when you're in that position in your head and in your emotions, you can't just flick a switch and suddenly cheer up. You know, there's, like I talk about, at times I talk about process, and again, it's a process. I know with my heart attack, if you'd spoken to me 8 weeks ago, you know, I could have happily driven the car off the road. You know, I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. But, you know, but that's how you feel. You feel useless and you feel hopeless. And, you know, I'd walk 3 steps and be puffing like an old man, you know, and it's just frustrating. And it's only as time heals that I'm starting to find myself again and starting to find that strength that I used to have. And when people are in the middle of pain, sometimes I wonder if we can pull them out too quickly and not allow them to grieve properly or heal properly, or bypass feelings and emotions that they need to be aware of or go through in order to get the complete healing and, you know, end up being the person that you're going to be out the other side. Sometimes I think we rush it and don't allow the complete process. So I guess this is a tough one to explain, but I know for myself, I have, you probably noticed, some of you, and please don't take it the wrong way, but I don't tend to respond as quickly on Facebook now. I'm a bit slower off the mark with things. I mean, part of that's my stroke as well. But it's because stuff has happened in my life since my heart attack that I can't explain. And some of the stuff I don't want to explain yet. But yeah, I just think as people, we need to give each other that space to heal. So yeah. So my conclusion, my encouragement is, if you know somebody who's going through a hard time at the moment, simply just be there for them, support them. Don't tap them on the shoulder and say, buck up, everything will be alright. You know, because when you're in that place, everything doesn't feel alright. I had to work very hard at resetting my mind to start re-establishing my life, because I didn't know what that's going to look like, and I still don't half the time. You know, we did fortunately come up with a plan and a purpose quickly, which made a huge difference for me. But I know for myself, I still have days where it sort of catches up with me, and I'll feel quite emotional or a little bit lost, or the frustration will come back. But I know each day is improving, and honestly, I can say I have learnt so much through this time. Things that I used to think were actually important, I now don't believe are important. When there's been, and I'll be straight up, we've had toxic people in our life in the last sort of year, really trying to discredit us, really trying to break a relationship between my mother and I, and literally just behave dishonestly and deceptively behind our backs. And you know, I've had people sort of tell me how to deal with that, but I'm just realizing it's so trivial and so crappy, and all it makes me realize is those people are quite sad and have some really unresolved issues. Maybe somebody's tapped them on the back and just said, cheer up and be happy too soon. You know, I think as people, we need to be allowed to go through the whole process of what's happening in our lives. And if we're allowed to go through that whole process, there's a much better chance, I believe, that we'll come out the other end completely healed. So, you know, I think sometimes we can delay people's healing by trying to get involved, you know, and as I said, all we need to do is give support, give encouragement, but, you know, feel that pain with the person, go through it with them if you need to, but allow them to go through, because I think that's where the change really comes. I think if I got too distracted too quickly and didn't have a chance to go through a lot of what I went through after my heart attack, I'd probably be in a very different place to what I am now. And I'm finding there's things that I used to struggle with before that I actually don't struggle with now, because of a lot of the stuff that I've been through, a lot of the pain that I've experienced. So yeah, this is kind of me. I'm probably waffling a bit, but just, you know, if you know somebody who's going through a tough time at the moment, acknowledge them, but acknowledge their pain. Don't try and brush it off. You know, no disrespect, but I know somebody said to my friend, why don't you just get a job to distract yourself and you'll feel better? Well, it's like, in all honesty, if you're in that position, you wouldn't be able to function in a job. And I know as people, we're just trying to find the right thing to say. Maybe we're a little bit unsure, but I guess my advice would be, and it's not professional advice, as you know, so that's my disclaimer, is to allow the person to feel the pain, feel it with them if you need to, and just be there for them, to make sure they're okay. Yeah, that's about it. Hope you're all having a good evening.